One of, I think, the very effective things in the Yes on 8 campaign is the argument that, and it's the question I'm always asked, is what about religious institutions and their tax-exempt status? So could you address that question?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first, let me do the narrow thing, and then we'll get to the broad thing. The narrow question you asked about are the ads that we've seen flooding the airwaves now. They're spending that $30 million by which they've outstripped the proponents of equality. And what the ads are full of are falsehoods and fear-mongering. The ads literally are untrue from beginning to end and are aimed at scaring people. And you notice that they don't really make the case for why gay people shouldn't have marriage. They try to change the subject to all these other scary false claims. So one of the ones they make, as you pointed out, is that if Californians don't support Prop 8, churches are going to lose their tax exempt status. Churches are going to be forced to do X, Y, or Z, and they actually say they'll lose their tax exempt status. And this is just sheer falsehood. Why is it a falsehood? It's a falsehood because in the United States we have the First Amendment. The First Amendment guarantees freedom of religion. The United States Constitution, as well as the Constitution of California, guarantees that no religious officer, no clergy member, no church, temple, synagogue, or mosque will ever be forced to perform any marriage it doesn't want to perform, nor will they lose their tax-exempt status for not performing a marriage. How do we know that's true? How do we know that what I'm saying is true and what the other side is saying is false? Well, think about this. Could a Jewish couple today walk down to a cathedral, bang on the door, and demand to get married there by the cardinal? The answer is, of course not. The cardinal, the priest, has the absolute right to decide, consistent with their own religious doctrine, who gets married in that denomination, in that faith, and what ceremonies he or she, in this case he, will or won't perform. And the Jewish couple cannot hire a lawyer. They cannot go and get the California statutes or the California Constitution or an injunction and go in and say, you have to marry us. Even though there is a civil rights law already that does indeed say people can't be discriminated against on the basis of their religion. And it's because we understand the distinction between church and state. But at the same time, it's wrong for anyone to be pushing the idea that the priest or bishop or cardinal or any other religious official should be able to pick up the phone and call down to the clerk's office run by the government and say, don't marry that Jewish couple because they're not in keeping with our faith. And I think most Americans, most Californians do understand that difference. Well, that's precisely the same difference that operates here. What Prop 8 would do if it passed would be imposing one religious idea of what's the right or wrong kind of religious marriage onto the government. By contrast, voting no on Prop 8 protects religious freedom, letting every religion decide for itself the questions of religious marriage, while ensuring that we have non-discrimination when it comes to civil marriage or the government-regulated marriage licenses. So this claim of tax-exempt status being taken away and so on is just simply a falsehood aimed at scaring people and changing the subject.